Welcome back. In our last video, we started learning about some of the properties and methods that are available on the JavaScript string data type. And in this video, we're going to go ahead and continue exploring some of the methods that are available. So to get started, if you can go ahead and go into your project folder, if you can go ahead and go into the 15-strings3 folder, go into the start subfolder and open up main.js. Then in your browser, if you can go ahead and open up the index.html page that is in your start subfolder. And when you do, you should see strings part 3 on the web page. So the first two methods we're going to look at in this video are two uppercase and two lowercase. These two methods are very helpful if you want to go ahead and convert your strings into one type of case. So for example, two uppercase can take our string and it'll convert all of those characters to uppercase. And likewise, two lowercase will do the same thing, but change the characters to lowercase. See this in action? Let's go ahead and do let text 10, and we'll go ahead and set it equal to a string, and we'll say apples are great. Alright, and then let's go ahead and console log our text 10. So if we do text, and we'll do 10, and then we'll do dot to uppercase. Perfect. And let's go ahead and copy our console log, and this time we're just going to go ahead and log just text 10. So go ahead and save and refresh. What you'll see is we have our original string at the very bottom, and then right above it we have our string all in uppercase letters. So as I mentioned, two lowercase will do the same thing, except it'll switch all the characters to lowercase. So let's go ahead and change this to two lowercase. Go ahead and save and refresh. And now you'll see that we have our original string, and then right above it we have our original string but with all lowercase letters. So one thing to know is this only affects characters, so we can easily change our string to include some numbers and maybe a few special characters. If we save and refresh, our string should still be transformed, but these other types of characters should be ignored. So our next method we're going to look at is the concat method. The concat method is used to join two or more strings, and you can use this method instead of using the plus operator to combine these two strings. So for example, if we go ahead and do text 10 equals hi, then what we can do is we can go ahead and do let text 11 equal text 10 dot concat. And then for our arguments, we can pass in as many strings as we like to be concatenated onto the text 10 string. So we have hi, so now if I do there, and now if we go ahead and console log our text 11 variable, what we should see if we save and refresh is hi there concatenated together. So what we could do is if we want, we can go ahead and add just a space for an empty string, and add that to our concat method here. And now we should have those three strings concatenated together. So we have hi, our space, and then they're concatenated together. So one thing to note about the concat method is this method will return a new string. It does not actually modify the value of the original string. So if we go ahead and console log text 10 variable, we should see that it's still set to hi. So our next method is the trim method, and this method can be used to remove white space from our string on both sides. So as an example, let me go ahead and set text 11 equal to space, 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 hi, space, space, space. And if we go ahead and do a console log of text 11, we should see our string get logged with all of our spaces here. So now, if we do console.log text11.trim, all of those spaces should now be removed in our new string. The next two methods we're going to take a look at are used for extracting string characters from our string. And these two methods are the character at and the character code at. So the character at method, it can be used to return the character that is at a specified index in our string. For example, let's go ahead and set text 11 equal to hi there. And then what we're going to do is let's go ahead and do a console log. Let's go ahead and do text 11, and we'll do character at and let's go ahead and do index 4. So if we go ahead and save and refresh, so you'll see we get an H back, and that's because that is at position 4 in our string. So if you remember, we start at 0, so 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So our next method, the character code at, will actually return the Unicode of the character at that specified index. So instead of returning H, what this value should return, it should return that Unicode value. So if we do character code at, if we go ahead and save and refresh, we'll see we get 104, since that is the value of that character. So there is one additional way that you can extract a character from your string, and this is through property access. So just for example, what I'm going to do a console log, and then I'm going to do my text11 variable, and I'm going to go ahead and do the first character in my string. So if we go ahead and save and refresh, we should get the character H back, since that is the first character. So there's a few things you should know about property access on strings, mainly that it can be a little bit unpredictable. So when we're looking at our code this way, it makes our code look like that this variable is an array, and we will be covering an array in another lesson. But as we know, we're working with a text data type, not an array. So from our code's perspective, when we're reviewing, it looks like we're trying to access an array here, and that's not our intention. Secondly, if no character is found at that position, this will return undefined, where character at will actually return an empty string. So for example, if I do const test1 equals a string, that's just the letter A. Let's go ahead and do a console log on test1.character at, and we'll say the first position. We'll go ahead and copy that line, and we're going to go ahead and change this to the property access on that character. So if we save and refresh, we can see immediately that they are treated differently. So character at returns an empty string, while this actually returns undefined. So one thing to note is that the property access is read-only, and we can't actually use it to update values. So for example, if I do text11 0 and I set it equal to D, if we go ahead and do our console log on text11, we should still see that it's set to high there. Because as I mentioned, it's read-only. And then finally we have our split method. So the split method can be used to convert a string into an array. And how this works is we'll go ahead and do console log, and we'll go ahead and do our text11, and then let's go ahead and use the split method. So if we go ahead and save and refresh, we'll see that our string here is converted into an array, and our string's inside that array. So how the split method works is if an argument is not passed to the method, then the method will go ahead and just take the full string and place it inside the array. Otherwise, what it'll do is it's going to take the string that's placed inside here, and it's going to try to split your string up by that character. So if I go ahead and copy and paste that line twice, and we'll go ahead and do just single quotes, and we'll do single quotes with a space, and we can see what happens. So what happens in the first case is, because we're not splitting by anything, it's going to split up each character in the string into a separate piece. Where in the second scenario, when we do it by the space, we'll see that our string is split up based on our space character, and now we have two elements.